Okay, so now I'm here with Joni. My name is Renato Babalu Sobral, and Babalu's around gym, professor nas Babalu's around gym. And today we just have a conversation that we always have. This is called Resenha after training, after I teach you. After teach the class. We call this in Portuguese Resenha. We had this every day. Resenha. Then when you finish the train, you keep talking, you discuss a different thing. It's like it's the best part of Jiu-jitsu. It's they call it the psychological part.
Oh.
Yes, the psychological part. They call it Resenha. This is the priceless part of Jiu-jitsu, that we get connected and we get more intimate. This is every gym is like that. In Brazil, we call this Resenha. After training, we sit down and talk.
Lay on the mat.
Yes. So, just decided to put today this on here, so online. So let's see how it works. My English is not so good, so I'm gonna try to speak slowly so you guys try to understand me. My students understand me very well sometimes, but the most of the time. And I have Joni here. They used to start training Jiu-Jitsu. How long?
4 years.
4 years to start training Jiu-Jitsu. She's walking to the gym. She's trying Muay Thai, correct?
Yeah. I actually I called and it was Natasha. And then I was like, I just want to do Jiu-Jitsu. She goes, well, if you come at 9, there's a Muay Thai class. I was like, probably just Jiu-Jitsu. And I was like, why not? I'll just try it. And it was so much fun. Right. Yeah. Okay. I mean, I was struggling, but it was fun.
Okay. So, Joni, for people who know you better, got to know you better, please tell me your full name, your background, where you come from, and why.
Why? So many answers to that. So my name is Joni Llamedo. I am a musician, and I was born and raised in Hawaii. I moved here. I think I've been living in California for about 7 years now.
Right.
Yeah, and I've had a couple friends who trained jiu-jitsu before. It was like some guy friends that I grew up with, and they were very insistent that I would enjoy it. But the only sports I really played were like I played basketball and I did paddling. I did bowling. And with
good to know. I'm not gonna ask you to bowling with me. You're gonna beat me up. It's good to know.
Oh no, it was a long time ago. But so with basketball, I was like, in my head, I was like, I'm not very good at basketball because I think I'm not good at contact sports. But I think it's just because I sucked at basketball. Because, case in point, this is a full contact.
Yeah, it's full contact.
Yeah. And I have a lot more good days here, I think, than I did on the basketball court. So that was my background with that. And so I came in with Muay Thai.
Okay. I mean, I was curious just to understand, because I'm a father of 2 daughters, Sophia and Maria, and on my house, I always have this mind. I always try to pursue the Professor Carlos Gracie taught us on a path. The Jiu-Jitsu for the whole family. It's the best self-defense you can have when you don't have a weapon in your hand. And I would like to have my daughter safe. I don't know if you remember this. When you sit down, have a first talk, serious talk. I say, Joni, look, the reason that I like to understand that, because for me, to make my daughters train Jiu-Jitsu, for me, it's a liability. I'm give them a tool so they can survive outside in this environment. And it will be a crime for me not to teach them how to defend themselves. Actually, Martin Luther King used his words exactly like this. It will be a crime not to teach a citizen how to defend themselves in this hostile environment. And it is a hostile environment. And we all try to think and imagine that everything's a flower. But we are human beings. They already deep know inside it's not a flower. and it's like if you never try to use, you don't use, but if you need to use, you're gonna be able to defend yourself.
Yeah.
This is my goal with my daughters. I would like to make them walk into the college. Then I know no boy, no man will be able to mess with them with their by themselves. They're alone.
Yeah.
They can be able to survive and ask for help.
Yeah. Most
And that's where I sit down with you and talk to you because I would like to see what's the interest on it. You know, my interest is on my daughter was this to make them safe. What is the interesting about you? You're a musician. You know, you grew up. No, like I said, you didn't have a fight background, did you?
No.
So even though you're Hawaiian, you don't have a fight background. But so I would like to understand what's making you to decide to join, to come to train jiu-jitsu, first of all, and second of all, why you decide to choose this gym?
I think, now that I think about it, I think it took some time to realize how fleeting life can be and things are so temporary. And I think I first felt it with my uncle that passed away was because he was like this huge guy that like, I think that was the first time I felt like when I lost somebody, I felt like I lost something that kept me safe. When I moved here, like my sisters have always been very protective of me. And we talked about this, and when in high school even, like I would always go to her, and if girls were messing with me, like it was her and her friends that would always like have my back. And coming here, I think there's probably more cases that like maybe I can't really recall, that you start to realize that like really all you have is like what you know. And I think that's why it rings so strong when you said that about you know, talking about, you know, the girls and, you know, Natasha, and how you're saying it would be an injustice to not teach them, because I think it was the first self-defense class. And it blew my mind because you were like, I told them one day you're not going to have, there's going to be a day where you're not going to have me, you're not going to have the police, you're not going to have your mom, you're not going to have your boyfriend, like, and all you're going to have is what you know. And that's about anything. And, you know, let alone like being able to defend yourself. And how we would tell the girls, like in the women's self-defense, we're like, we want to add these things in your toolbox, but we hope you never have to use it. I mean, like if you're thinking of a literal toolbox, like if you learn how to use a hammer, it doesn't mean you go freaking hammering everything.
Exactly. It's just, like this is a good analogy. It's a good analogy.
Yeah, so it's like that, I think.
Okay. So this is well said. And then they have these big discussions today. I mean, well, going back, John is responsible for one of the things in the past when we sit down, we have this conversation. I sit down with you, and I have this vision about how come not so much how come I don't have so much women on my gym. Then we sit down, decide to have this woman self-defense class. We've been training for a while, and I show you, different sides of the jiu-jitsu. And she jumps with me on this adventure. And besides, after this, we've been doing different seminars in different places. Mm-hmm. One in church, one in a law officer, law firm. Another one inside the Air Force Base.
Yeah.
And when I bring you, I can see other persons like they kind of they feel themselves they're amazed because such a little girl can toss a big guy like you did on. No, I didn't talk about me. I talk about somebody else. They try to use what they know against you, and you defend themselves when you're in the Air Force. And the person got amazed. I would like you to explain how come jiu-jitsu can be for everyone. It's not only for the person that's well qualified, not say qualified, but I mean, I said well skills, you know.
It's like it almost doesn't come as natural.
Yeah, sometimes people think, you know, he only be able to do this because he's professional. She only be able to do this because she's a professional. They would like to tell you to explain everyone how you're an average woman, you know, and then you just step and put yourself, dedicate yourself a time, and now you be able to defend yourself. And sometimes when you put walls there, you say, I'm not going to be able, because I have this conversation with you, because yesterday I was inside getting my rental car, and this lady was talking to me, and we were having this conversation, little chat conversation, and she's explained to me, how long you train? I said, I trained for 30 years. And when did you start? I started when I was 10 years old. And she asked me, what's the hard part to train jiu-jitsu? I said, well, the hard part for training jiu-jitsu, it is, I think, in my opinion, the hard part of jiu-jitsu is not to continue. If you just come and try to understand and think that 2 months or 3 months or 6 months you understand or training, I think you're gonna be able, how can I say, you're gonna get frustrated, because anything in your life, when you start learning, anything in your life is hard. When you feel the wall, you want to give up. You don't keep doing. Yeah. And jiu-jitsu can be sometimes overwhelming. It's overwhelming for me sometimes. Yeah. It's overwhelming because so much things going on. And it's just about you to come the next day and come the next day. What's the hard part for you? I would like to explain for you to the ladies that any ladies can do this. Any of your friends that they're a musician, people, your audience, they can train jiu-jitsu as well.
Yeah. I feel like it's learning anything, you kind of become your own worst enemy. And, you know, when you, like, I mean, it's so easy to literally size yourself up with the people on the mat. And then you start comparing, like, oh, why can they do that and I can't? I think the thing that I enjoy the most about it is the fact that you're just going to have those bad days, weeks, months. It just happens. And all you have to do is change your approach. But it's easier said than done. Yeah. Because it's like, you know, we always talk about, oh, it's like a puzzle. It really is. It's just, you know, sometimes people will be like, how come I can't, like, go this way? If I do this, I can't. I'm like, then go the other way. You know, like, just, the definition of insanity is trying to do the same thing and expect a different result. Right. But I think that's probably the biggest challenge, is like when you're so set on like a position or a submission or some sort of sweep, and you know you're fighting for something, and then it's not working out. You have to adjust. You have to like get out of what's coming naturally at the moment. And it's, yeah, it's not impossible, but it's almost like, you know, and I think that's why, you know, you're talking about, oh, the best part is like this, you know, talking story after about it, is because it's so in the moment when you're on the mat, and then you kind of look back and, you know, look at the outside, you're like, oh, like, yeah, I didn't even think of that, but that makes sense. But it's kind of cool because it says a lot about yourself. It teaches you a lot about yourself, you know?
So, how can you use as your words to encourage another woman to practice jiu-jitsu, and not to make a wall? I think a lot of times if we make it a wall and many things, we create monsters. We create walls to learn new things, because you think this is impossible for me to learn that. This is too hard for me. Oh, yeah. And, you know, I would like you to get your input and give them, I would say average Joe, but average Joe is not, because you're a lady. average married. So every woman,
Average Jane.
every Jane, to start training jiu-jitsu though, or anyone, from the cashier, from the Target to the doctor on the hospital in Casa Permanente, or whoever woman, any size, any weight, anything. What is your advice for them to start training jiu-jitsu?
I would think the thing that keeps coming to mind is don't get in the way of your own potential.
That's a good word. Yeah.
I think everybody is going to have a different game. And it's just, the hardest part is stepping on the mats and giving yourself a chance.
Give yourself a chance. That's a good word. You give yourself a chance. I try to give myself a chance every day. Yes. That's right.
We're trying.
We try to give myself a chance every day.
Don't we all?
Yes, we all. This is what we do. This is perfect. And I think this is very important. And well, another thing too, we've been talking, we haven't this subject, people been talking around. Should a woman train with another man, or should a woman only train another woman? Because this is the thing that sometimes I see. Some women like to train with men. Some women like to train only with women. And do you think there should be this separation, or should train with everyone? What do you think?
For me, I feel like everyone should be able to train with it. Like everyone, I guess I'm acclimated to it being a part of this gym. You know, I mentioned at the last, was it the last workshop we had, or the last event for women's self-defense, and I have mentioned that I feel like the men's role in women's empowerment is underestimated. It's so important as women to be able to stand together for sure, but I think you guys and the guys that I was training with here, I think they've actually empowered me as a woman in one way or another just by training with me. Kind of I think there's an advantage to that. If you're thinking in a sense of self-defense, like, if he's attacking, be like, oh, I can't because you're a man.
Yeah,
I can't. You can't, like.
No, because the question that I'm asking is this, because some women that are afraid to roll with another man, because they don't want to get I'm not gonna fight against a man, or this is too strong for me. They put themselves under a man, and in my opinion, I'm totally opposite. And I think women learn jiu-jitsu somehow faster than a man, because they not rely so much on strength, and the ego is not so big. A man can be from 5 years old to 60 years old. They have a little bit of ego, a little bit. That sometimes they put you on your way. You want to do this because you're stronger, because you think I see kids doing some stuff here. They use the strength. And sometimes they use the strength the strength works. Because they're more stronger than the other ones. And women, most of the time, they don't have such a strength as a man. And they have to go around
Use technique.
To use the technique.
And
that's why, in my opinion, women learn techniques much better than a man. And faster.
Yeah.
This is my opinion.
That makes sense.
Does that make sense for you?
Yeah, I can see that.
And I don't on this gym, especially in this gym, I try to make always. It's hard to control everyone, But I see sometimes when a woman do something to a man or passing a man's guard or mountain, I can tell the man's gonna use the strength right there. I can tell he's gonna get upset. He's gonna start using his skills. He's gonna start using his strength, and his skills go right off the door because he doesn't let a girl do the stuff to him. He feels bad, and this is very good for men because they try to make them humble.
Yeah. I feel like there's always something to learn.
There's always something, correct?
Always something to learn.
Always something. What's your input about this? About you training with a guy, and the guy's strong, the guy uses strength against you. What are you thinking about it? Because I think this is very curious.
I never thought about it until I started. There were like a couple of incidents where I got hurt, and you found out about it, and you had to have a talk with me where the perspective of like a woman, let alone my size, giving a guy a hard time is not an easy position to be in as, you know, a guy. Going back to how me and my sisters were raised, I feel like we've always done things that, you know, sometimes like there are more males present, but we never go in there thinking like, oh, I'm a woman, so I'm gonna like smash you. You know what I mean? Like with whatever we're doing, whether it's music or anything, it was never a fact of being girls. It was just no matter what you guys choose to do it to the best of your capability. Right. So coming in, it's the same thing. I enjoy the learning. I enjoy the rolling. Like, so when I'm training and I'm training hard, if I do something and I feel that aggression coming back, if I notice it more now, in my head, it's issues on their end that they need to deal with. It's nothing personal for me. Like, it's not because, oh, you're Joni and you're doing something, whatever. No, it's just, you know, that's something on their end with their own pride and their own ego. And, you know, I would expect anybody would have moments like that. But
okay. Do you have any questions? Because this has become an interview.
I know it has.
It was just making a question. Right? It's your time now.
I think from when I first started, even like Ricky and I have had conversations about kind of the waves of people.
So Ricky, to explain to everyone, Ricky is another black belt in the gym. A black belt from me. He's training since was, from white belt, and he's been here with us around 10 years. Around that, yes, yeah. 10 or 8 years, 11, something. No, with us in the gym, him, Ricky. Our gym is gonna be 12 this year.
Yeah.
But Ricky's been my student about 9 years.
Oh.
And he's my black belt, my first black belt, and that's the Ricky she's talking about it. And
that guy.
Yeah.
That guy. Yeah. So we were talking. We'll talk like this after, but we're both talking about how. Because he's obviously been here longer than I have, but there's certain waves of people that come in, and it's interesting to see. So I'm curious at like, you know, the shift in the vibe that you've seen so far.
It is great. It's different, isn't it?
Yeah.
A lot of people come and go. That's right.
Yeah.
And the high belts, that's the one they stay. That's the only difference between the white belt and just star. I think in the people that have been here longer. Yeah. That's the only difference because everybody's starting the same. Everybody's starting the same way, pretty much. You know, everybody's starting the same way. And the other persons they get better as the person they keep going. The person they quit, just go. You know, then another wave come, and for me, everybody walking here on the gym, I see as a black belt every first day, anyone. Like I said, from 70 to 60 to 5 years old. I always put my hope and my money in every single one that come here. I see everyone as a black belt. Every single one. Like I saw you a couple years ago. Like I saw Ricky, like I saw my daughter, like I saw this. But no. I teach you every single one has to be a new black belt. The person is not a black belt because the person doesn't want to.
Do you feel like you can read people right away?
I can
read? read
read.
people right
If
away.
I can read,
Yeah.
well, no, I cannot.
No.
No, I cannot. I try to read people all the time, but a lot of time I surprise myself, and this is what amazed me. You know, it's amazed me a lot. No,
Yeah.
because I read person, I read the people. What can I say? Of course, I think everybody scan everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody scan everyone when you scan a person right away. But a lot of people that I scan change. So I kind of scan is normal, no.
Yeah.
But I kind of don't try to judge. I scan,
Yeah.
but I don't judge.
Yeah. One thing that I really liked was when you were talking about like the psychoanalysis of like the effect jujitsu has on like, you know, like especially the kids. Like there's a lot of people you said started that their personality is so much different now. Like,
Oh yes.
like
This is the most. This I think that's the most reward here, especially when I teach kids. Is the personality change for the kids. They come here all shy and
Yeah.
insecure.
mm-hmm.
Then they right couple years, maybe a year. They walking differently, and I know if they walking differently here,
Mm-hmm.
they walking differently in the school.
Yeah, that's true.
And this is the most important thing. Sometimes the parents or even adults wants to come training, and we expect them to be a competitor or here, but jiu-jitsu is way far beyond. It's just competition inside the mat.
Mm-hmm.
On jiu-jitsu world, maybe 3% compete, 97% doesn't.
Oh.
Yes. Into all these 9% people, they have so much things in their life. They learn so much things in their life.
Yeah.
You know, this small percentage compete, but they have their own perspective of the jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, it's a very different
It's very
mentality.
different. They have a different mentality.
Yeah, I remember my first tournament, and I was like, I didn't realize I was smiling till the very end because I was like, and then Ricky was telling me, he was like, "Yeah, you stood up, you're like." I'm like,
So,
"Oh, I don't know."
for us to finish this conversation, what's the? I would like to know how can you invite more girls? How can you empower more women to train jiu-jitsu, especially your friends that they are musician or your friends around you or the people that wants to train jiu-jitsu to go to next door gym jiu-jitsu and join jiu-jitsu or do anything. What's your
I think it goes back to what I said earlier about giving yourself a chance. You
give
know,
yourself a chance?
yeah, give yourself a chance and find your game.
So, Johnny, our so we're gonna use this time now because Johnny, she's a musician. Would like you to put out to explain your how can I contact you if you want to?
Oh,
Yeah, of course.
oh,
Yes,
I
if
forgot
you want-
about this part.
Yes. How can I contact you so they can hire you to sing? They can see your work, your social media, your platforms.
Yes.
I think that's the word, platform. So they can get in contact to you so that if they want to hire you or to listen your songs. I just know you come out with a new song.
Yes, I did.
Yes.
Just dropped a new single.
The new single that was beautiful. And if you guys want to take a look, how can they can find out?
You guys can find me on Instagram. It would be Joni L Music, JONIL Music.
Okay. How can I get your new single?
Oh, you can find me on all streaming platforms, iTunes, and what is it? Amazon, all that stuff.
Okay,
all that,
great.
Spotify, Pandora.
All right. Sounds great.
Thank you so
All
much,
right, good.
sir.
All right. Awesome.